Jacob stood at the edge of the auction pen, his heart pounding as his eyes locked onto the frail horse no one seemed to want. Its ribs jutted out, resembling broken piano keys, and its eyes carried a sorrow Jacob couldn't turn away from. To the crowd, it was just a weak, worthless animal, but to Jacob, it was something more. It was a chance to prove everyone wrong, to show what love and care could do for a creature who had never known it. Little did Jacob know, this broken horse would change his life forever. Welcome to Animal Stories Unleashed. Each week, we bring you heartwarming, inspiring tales that highlight the incredible connection between humans and animals. These stories will stir your heart, ignite your soul, and remind you of the amazing bond we share with the animal kingdom. If you're an animal lover and appreciate compelling storytelling, don't forget to like this video, share it with friends, and subscribe for more unforgettable journeys. Let's dive into today's story. You won't want to miss it. Jake's hands tightly gripped the small wad of savings he had brought along. His heart raced with a mix of excitement and nerves. At just 10 years old, he had never been to an auction before, let alone imagined himself buying a horse. But today was different. Today, Jake had a dream to fulfill. The local auction grounds buzzed with activity as farmers and ranchers inspected livestock, their voices blending into a chaotic mix of bartering and laughter. Jake's eyes darted across the arena, searching for the horse he'd heard about from a neighbor, the frail one that nobody seemed to want. When the auctioneer's hammer came down on another sale, Jake's anticipation grew. Finally, the moment came. The frail, sickly horse was led into the ring. Its dull coat and unsteady gait drew murmurs of disappointment from the crowd. "Who'd want a horse like that?" someone whispered with disdain. But Jake saw something no one else did, a faint spark in the horse's tired eyes. It was a connection he couldn't explain. As bidding began low, Jake's small hand shot up, surprising the crowd and drawing chuckles. "What's a kid going to do with a horse like that?" someone teased. Ignoring the stares and whispers, Jake stood tall, his voice unwavering as he placed his bid. With his modest savings, he became the proud owner of the most overlooked horse at the auction. As the auction concluded, Jake approached the frail horse with cautious steps. Reaching out, he gently touched its trembling body, feeling the creature's uncertainty. "I'll take care of you," he whispered, as though making a solemn promise. He named the horse Thunder, a name that felt ironic now but would later prove fitting. Leading Thunder home, Jake could feel the weight of the townsfolk's skeptical stares. They shook their heads, doubting the boy's choice. But Jake wasn't discouraged. Deep inside, he believed that Thunder was destined for something greater. He had no idea just how much their journey together would change both of their lives. When Jake led Thunder to the small paddock behind his family's barn, the frail horse stumbled, nearly collapsing from exhaustion. Jake's heart ached as he steadied Thunder, whispering softly, "It's okay, boy. We'll get you back on your feet." The days that followed were anything but easy. Thunder refused to eat, barely moved, and seemed to have given up entirely. Jake, however, refused to let go of hope. He spent every free moment by the paddock, reading aloud, talking to Thunder, or simply sitting in silence. One evening, his voice softened as he said, "You remind me of Dad." He never gave up, no matter how hard things got. Fueled by determination, Jake immersed himself in learning how to nurse a weak horse back to health. He pored over old books and sought advice from their kind neighbor, Mr. Carter. With this newfound knowledge, Jake prepared a special diet for Thunder, blending oats, carrots, and herbs known for their healing properties. A breakthrough came on the 5th day. As Jake approached the paddock with a bucket of food, Thunder took a hesitant step forward. Jake froze, his heart pounding as the horse cautiously nibbled from the bucket. "That's it, Thunder. You can trust me," Jake murmured, his voice filled with quiet hope. From that moment, the bond between the boy and the horse began to grow. Each day, Jake introduced gentle routines, brushing Thunder's coat, speaking to him in soothing tones, and leading him on short walks around the property. Slowly but surely, Thunder's strength returned. One golden afternoon, as the sun dipped low in the sky, Jake decided to try something new. He brought out an old saddle that had once belonged to his father. "I'm not going to ride you yet, buddy," he said, gently stroking Thunder's neck. "Just getting you used to the idea." To Jake's surprise, Thunder didn't flinch when the saddle was placed on his back. In that moment, Jake felt a flicker of hope. Perhaps this horse, once deemed unworthy, had the spirit of a champion after all. Not everyone shared Jake's optimism. At the local feed store, he overheard murmurs of doubt and ridicule. "That boy is wasting his time," one man scoffed. "That horse will never be more than a pasture ornament." Jake clenched his fists but remained silent. He didn't need their approval. Deep down, he knew Thunder was special, and he was determined to prove it, no matter what anyone said. Weeks turned into months, and Thunder underwent a remarkable transformation. His once dull and matted coat now gleamed under the sunlight. His movements, once sluggish and hesitant, became confident and fluid. But it wasn't just Thunder's physical recovery that amazed Jake. It was the bond they were forming. Every morning, Jake would sneak out of the house before dawn, carrying a bag of oats and a carrot. "Morning, buddy," he'd say softly as he approached the paddock. Thunder would whinny in response, his ears perking up at the sight of Jake. The boy had learned to read Thunder's emotions. Whether it was the flick of his tail or the tilt of his head, the horse's feelings were as clear to Jake as spoken words. Eventually, Jake decided it was time to introduce Thunder to the open field. With his saddle strapped on and a lead rope in hand, he guided Thunder out of the paddock. The wide expanse of the family ranch stretched before them, and Jake felt a swell of pride as Thunder stood tall, his muscles rippling under his sleek coat. "All right, let's see what you've got," Jake murmured, patting Thunder gently. He clicked his tongue, and the stallion began to trot. At first, Thunder moved cautiously, but as the cool morning breeze swept through the grass, something stirred within him. He broke into a canter, his powerful legs kicking up dirt as he raced across the field. Jake stood in awe, watching Thunder's raw strength and grace unfold before him. It wasn't all smooth sailing, though. One afternoon, while practicing groundwork, Thunder suddenly reared up, his nostrils flaring and his eyes wide with fear. Jake's heart raced as he held onto the lead rope, trying to calm the horse. "Easy, boy. Easy," he whispered, stepping closer. But Thunder's fear was overwhelming. It took nearly an hour for Jake to settle him down. That evening, as he sat by the paddock, Jake replayed the incident in his mind. "What spooked you, Thunder?" he wondered aloud. Then he remembered something his father used to say. A horse doesn't just fear what's in front of them, they fear what's inside them too. The word struck a chord with Jake. He began to understand that Thunder's past, whatever it had been, still haunted him. Jake decided to change his approach. He spent more time simply being present with Thunder, sitting quietly by his side, brushing him with slow, deliberate strokes and speaking in soft, reassuring tones. He also began using his father's old training methods, which emphasized trust and mutual respect over dominance. One evening, as the sky blazed with hues of orange and pink, Jake decided it was time to ride Thunder for the first time. Approaching the horse with the saddle in hand, he spoke in a calm, steady voice. "This is it, buddy. We're going to take it one step at a time," he said. To his amazement, Thunder stood still as Jake mounted him. A mix of exhilaration and nervousness coursed through Jake as he settled into the saddle. "Let's take it slow," he murmured, nudging Thunder gently. The horse responded with a steady walk, and soon, boy and horse moved in harmony. As they returned to the barn, something unexpected caught Jake's eye, a shadowy figure standing by the fence. It was Mr. Carter, the neighbor who had helped him care for Thunder. The older man tipped his hat, a rare smile lighting up his weathered face. "You've done something special, Jake," he said. "That horse isn't just healed, he's alive again. And so are you." A lump rose in Jake's throat as he dismounted, leading Thunder back to the paddock. "Thanks, Mr. Carter," he said quietly. As Jake watched Thunder settle in for the night, he realized that their journey was far from over. Thunder's transformation wasn't just about strength or speed. It was about trust, resilience, and the unbreakable bond they had formed.